What up guys, Calvin here, and today we're gonna be looking at the quiet kid of the class step up to the bully. Okay, it gonna be pretty interesting. Have you ever been bullied before, or were you a bully in school? Leave a comment down below and I would love to read it. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Let's get this video to maybe 20 likes, that would be amazing. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, CalvinLee1995. Link will be in the description below. And yeah, let's get right in with the show. 5th grade, this dude who always picked on me was kicking my CNA assembly, and I was having a terrible week, and this was my last straw. I turned punch him in the face, but I wasn't satisfied with the first punch because it felt weak, so I figured I'm already going to be in trouble, so I went back for a second better punch that felt worth getting in trouble over. Wow, I like the way you think, okay? Also, this was a DARE assembly, which was about saying no to drugs and violence, so I basically learned nothing. Yeah, you are in the wrong environment, but you gotta do what you gotta do to prevent yourself from being bullied, you know? In middle school, we were hanging around before classes started, and this guy who used to be my friend came up behind me and put a condom in my mouth. Ew, hopefully it is not used, okay? I turned around and pushed him up against the wall and punched him in the face. The whole school heard about it and they were all backing me up for the rest of the day. I didn't even get in trouble. Congrats for not getting in trouble, okay? Putting a condom in your mouth, that is just so disgusting. What was he thinking, you know? For context, I was 6'5" and have been since high school. There was a girl I was friends with who had a boyfriend. There was nothing going on between us, but her boyfriend was older and used to call me names and throw crap at me in the hall. I am not a particularly confrontational person, so I let it go like that for a while. There was a day when he knocked my books out of my hand and I had enough. He wasn't nearly as big as I was, so I picked him up by his shirt and slammed him against a locker. The bullying stopped. That must be some intense situation. I mean, you pick him up and then slam him on the locker. Man, everybody must be really shocked when you did it, okay? My second in French, like 15-year-old bully, decided to sit next to me in class, repeatedly whispered insult to me. At one point, I snapped, took his head and bashed it into the desk. I think I would have been in deep crap had his textbook not been there. Needless to say, I got kicked out of that class and had to change English group. Holy crap. So let me get this straight. You just basically snap his head into the desk. Oh man, that must hurt really bad. It's like getting hit by a basketball like 50 miles per hour. I don't want to think about it. I learned how to fight, then beat the hell out of him. He let me alone from then on. Got in trouble with the school, but when they called my dad to tell him I was fighting, he said, "Yeah, I bet I paid for the lessons. Was it that little crap who been bullying him? I did not get in trouble at home." Yeah, sometimes you just gotta knock that bully out, you know, just to defend yourself. My dad took me to the barn and taught me to punch by punching hay bales. I was at a baseball practice and my bully came up behind me and yanked on my hair. I spun around and landed the punch of my life right to his chest. He dropped like a stone. I don't know who was more surprised, me or him. He was probably like, oh my god, I didn't even know my punch was this strong. I don't know what to do. I might have superpowers now. I was bullied heavily in middle school. I wrestled in high school. At a competition, I found I had to wrestle Josh. He was one of those bullies. I knew I could pin him out of win. Told my coach about him, and my goal wasn't to pin him, but to hurt him as long as possible. Wrestling match starts. I do every move I can think of that hurts, then try to get him on his back. Just kept trying to and jacking out his arms, shoulders. Took a couple shots and checked his crotch with my shoulder since he wasn't wearing a cup. I did the full 6 minutes and won 12-1 on points. He cried. Entire team went ballistic. Coach had told them he used to bully me, and they were cheering me on so hard. Felt like the freaking king of the world. I walked off to my team. He limped off to the athletic trainer. That is an amazing story, okay? The lesson is you just do not want to bully other people. Sometimes the victim will just hit you back and you will learn your lessons, bullies, okay? In junior high, some little crap was always picking on me, and one day I was really mad about something else going on at home. So when he came out to me, I hit him in the face with the heel of my gym shoes, broke his nose and a few teeth. Teacher gave me a lecture but no punishment. He didn't bother me again, so it was worth it. Oh man, he gonna get some implants, you know. That is gonna be expensive if he broke it so bad. The implants gonna cost like at least $10,000. The reason the teacher didn't punish you is because the teacher knew about it, and he or she was just waiting for you to go off. Okay, so congrats. In my secondary school, when you were about to leave, you wore your school uniform shirts on the last day and people will sign it for you. There was also an option to wear your own clothes for the last few days. So this guy who was leaving came decked out in the best of 1980s sport fashion, wielding a permanent marker, and instead of signing the shirt of leavers, he went around scribbling on the shirt of kids who were younger. Now bear in mind we were pretty poor, and if I came home with my uniform and a mess, I get grief because we couldn't afford to replace it. He grabbed me and scribbled all over my shirt, and somehow, using as yet unknown quicksilver power, I grabbed the marker off him and managed to quibble not only all over his Sergio Tucci bag windbreaker, but all over his face and neck. He punched me in the tits. I am a girl, but it was worth it. Wow, that is amazing. Honestly, I would get pissed too if someone just scribbled all over my uniform with a permanent marker. I mean, these marks are not gonna coming off, you know. I mean, detergent is not even gonna help. A group of boys thought it was hilarious to kick our football and stop us from getting it back after it rolled toward them on the school field. They kept pushing it between themselves, picking it up and trying to keep it away from us. After trying for about a minute to get the ball from them by running after it, one of them picked the ball up and kept moving it away, trying to keep it out of my reach. I took a few steps back, no longer interested in trying to not hurt them, and did a goal kick on the ball. I kicked his hand in the process, and the ball smacked him in the face and gave him a bloody nose. He didn't even try to react. He just turned and walked away with his tail between his legs. Oh goodness, that must hurt really bad. I mean, he got kicked in the hand, and the ball also smacked him right in the face, and he was bleeding from the nose. It's gonna be really hard to explain to your parents why is a nose bleeding. Not at school, but I was 12 and a kid on my block constantly challenged me to fight him because he knew I didn't want to. So it was a great way for this chubby, incompetent brat to show off. One day outside the convenience store, to his surprise, I accepted it. He came toward me and I basically just lifted out my leg and kicked him in the stomach. Honestly, he just bounced off my foot and shocked. He came at me again. This repeated about 3 times as the expression of disbelief on his face became more pathetically pronounced. He finally gave up and ran home past my house, telling my mother, who happened to be outside, that I beat him up, but she already knew about his behavior toward me, so as soon as I explained what happened, it was all good. He wasn't actually hurt physically, just emotionally. We both learned a good lesson that day, and he actually grew up to be a decent guy from what I could tell. Oh, that's good. He learned his lesson. That's why he grew up to be a decent guy. I didn't snap a bully, but I did snap at a teacher who didn't do anything no matter how many times I told her I was being bullied. All my bullies, their parents were on the parents' council. They got funding for field trip and things like that, so the kids were basically untouchable. I yelled at the teacher, telling her what they had done to me. Things like taking my school supplies, excluding me from activities, calling me names, and throwing things at me, along with other things. I told him how I was sick and tired of being blamed, that it was my fault I had no friends when every single bully told people to avoid me. They invented this thing called the Katie touch, like the cheese touch, but you just get the Katie touch if you talk to me. And I finished it by telling her that she was stupid and was too worried about losing school funding that she didn't care what happened to her students. No one backed me up and nothing changed. I got a 3-day in school suspension and the bully got worse. Kids take my lunch and shoes, so I get in trouble for not wearing my indoor shoes, and I passed out one time from hunger and dehydration from not eating. I hated that school, and I am so glad I went to a junior high that didn't have anyone else there from my old elementary. Wow, that is really sad. Man, that teacher is just a horrible person. Why would she just care about funding instead of students? Your job is to take care of the students, okay, not the funding or the money. That just shit aside for something else, you know. This was in 7th grade, I think. I threw a shoe at him in a change room. He was just picking on some random kid, and I just had enough of his crap. And I completely missed him and hit the guy that he was picking on right in the face. Everyone froze for a second and then burst out into laughter. And the guy who was being picked on started crying, and I felt really bad because I meant to hit the bully. Shoes are hard to throw accurately, okay? I tried to tell him that it was for the bully, and I guess I calmed him down a little bit. Also, by apologizing profusely. After the incident, the mood in the change room was lightening and everyone started being more chill with each other, so I guess it was a success. LOL. Man, that kinda sucks, you know, when a bully is bullying another kid and you just threw his shoes at the victim. I mean, you just not helping the situation, you know. I know you didn't do it on purpose, but at least at the end, you know, the situation got a lot calmer, so that's good. So I grew up moving around a lot with my mom and dad. Unfortunately, that meant being the new kid quite a bit. I was a pretty awkward kid, but I generally managed to make friends, except one particular school. I was there for 3 years, which is the longest run at one elementary school I ever had. Anyways, the popular girls were bullying me constantly. I was about 50 pounds soaking wet when I was younger and was on average skinnier than most. They would call me anorexic and ask why my parents starved me. They didn't. My parents were and still are amazing. But one day the popular girl asked me to give her a push on the glider. You hang on to a T-bar and push off from one but platform to the next. Well, I pushed her really hard and she fell off and broke her arm. I transferred schools the next week. Holy crap, you broke her arm? She probably deserved it, you know, don't be a bully. I was 7 and I was a nice kid with average grade, and this one bully that was taller than me. He used to be any typical bully, like trick you on your lunch and push your head for no apparent reason. I was getting annoyed that I felt the red heat go all over my body. I looked at him and told him to stop. I looked at him. He pushed me to the ground. I stopped and kicked his tables and punched his nose with all my force. His nose started to bleed and I was sent to the office. My mom had this thing where if they started it, then she would pretend that she is mad at me at school and come home saying, "Congrats." Dang, you got an awesome mom, okay? She understands that you're being bullied and you just trying to defend yourself, okay? So yeah guys, this is about the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification. And also don't forget to follow me on Instagram, CalvinLee1995. Link will be in the description below. And don't forget to check out other videos in this channel. And yeah, my name is Calvin and I'll see you guys next video.